Okay, I have a little technical difficulty. Just give me 1 second and I'll fix it. 1 second. Let's see. How's it going, everybody? All right, let's see here. Wrong name on the. That should fix it. All right. Hopefully that changed the name on the title. Hopefully. Oh well, I have to go fix it later, I guess. Maybe if I, excuse me 1 minute. Just 1 second. Oop. Okay, looks like we're okay. Looks like we're all right, even though I got the wrong name up there. Anyway, we'll get through it and I'll change it afterwards. How's it going, everybody? It's good to see you. Let me get my shift together. Got Jason Layton on today. He's a really cool guy. We met him in January at the Waves of Light Conscious Conference. He's a very cool dude. He's been doing some really cool work. He's been on the path for, I want to say 20 plus years. He's done a lot of research, a lot of downloads. He's got a couple of things. One of them is called the Master's Octave, but we'll talk to him about it a little bit. He's got a free online series that he's made available, kind of the culmination of all his work. But let's get in here and talk to him about it. Let's see. Okay. Come in, Houston.
What's up, brother?
Oh, I'm just running on fumes. But anyway, I'll have to change the title. I changed the title, but
yeah, I see. Don't worry about
it. I don't think it does it while it's in. Probably after I have to go back and do it, but that's okay. It's a new software platform, so I'm effing it up a little bit. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay, cool. So what's happening? How you doing? What's going on?
Doing fantastic.
What's going on in the yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear, man.
We're alive, we're breathing. We're breathing.
Exactly.
This is an
right.
amazing, it's an amazing place to be.
Isn't it really? I mean, Isn't it absolutely, doesn't it just come down? And I don't give a damn if you got 10 breaths left or 100 years left. I don't really give a shit at this point. You know, the whole gift is living. The whole gift is living. Why in the hell would you want to be put in this present moment and be freaking out, worrying, under pressure, self-imposed pressure? Don't blame it on the government. Don't blame it on anybody else. But yeah, you know what? I'm getting tired of this shift. I really am. And I'm tired of the bitching and the moaning and complaining. You're my brother, so I can speak to you openly about it.
Yes. It's all part of the programming. That's why people just react off of the program that they've been fed.
Well, you know, and this thing about, I never really looked at myself as an empath.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what an empath is. I understand what an intuitive is. I understand what an intuitive empath is.
Right.
You know, but I never really thought of myself as that, you know. But in retrospect, you go back and then you think, man, I was always feeling other people's feelings, and you know, I always had intuition, even as a kid. But you know, quite frankly, I think you know, Morgan has a saying: if you look for it, you'll find it, and that's not always a positive thing. If you go look for the
Yeah.
bull shift, you'll find the bull shift. And the thing is, what I'm finding is this whole thing about picking up other people's energies, in the collective.
Hmm.
You don't have to be standing next to somebody.
Yeah.
It's a real deal, and we've got a choice to let people leave the bird nest and fly on their own, or not. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Power nap.
Yeah, everybody's gonna be waking up very soon. I mean, there's a massive influx of energy coming into our reality that's really pushing everybody to wake up, and a lot of it could seem to be uncomfortable, but it's necessary to wake up, because when people get too comfortable, they don't want to move. So we need something to kind of give us a little push, say, hey, come on, it's time to really start making moves. But I believe everybody is empathic. I believe everybody has the same abilities. And it's just really, like you said, what's where your attention goes, energy flows. Once you start becoming aware of um, these gifts that we all have, they start to come into our lives and we're able to use them. But I don't think anybody does not have the gift. I believe we all have the gift, especially when it comes to energy, because we are energetic beings. We are
Absolutely.
pure energy. Yeah,
I
so
totally
we're
agree with you.
definitely moving in. We're definitely moving into an incredible time in
Yeah,
history, has been prophesized. It's so amazing to be alive today. I mean, there's a lot
it
of stuff going
is.
on, definitely, but there's so much excitement really that's happening. I mean, it's going to be a great shift that's happening right now. Great shift is happening, and it's exciting. It's so exciting. I mean, obviously, you can look at the news and you might see different. You might say it a little differently, but really, in an energetic point of view, understanding the stars and how the stars work and how the collective consciousness works, something big is happening. Something big is
It's
happening.
huge. It's
Huge.
absolutely huge. And
Yeah.
these narratives are distractions. They really are.
Yeah.
I think you said it
Yeah.
best. Like when we, how are you doing? I'm great. I'm alive.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all that's all
Yeah.
you got to say. And I think there's been enough information that's come down. Uh, Somebody says I don't watch the effing news. Shannon McMillan Thompson. I thought it said the fake news, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and use the I don't watch the. But you don't have to watch the effing news. You can watch the news feed.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is that there's been enough information that's come down that
Hmm.
this human experience is an absolutely off the hook, unique experience. That's why, according to a lot of people's intel, and I won't get into the names, but very credible people
Yeah.
that have the sight into this certain part of the universe, that souls are lining up to come down here. And one of the
Yeah.
things that is the big attraction of this realm is to feel emotion, is to
Yeah.
experience the highs and the lows. And
Yeah.
no matter what you're experiencing, you're alive.
Yeah.
And the
And you
first thing
have,
you're going to be doing when you transition by your own intention and manifestation, if you remain in that frame of mind or frequency, you're going to be kicking yourself in the ass because you left too early. You know.
yeah. And the other thing is you have a body. The
Mm-hmm.
body, it's through the body and the senses that we're able to experience the emotions. We're able to experience the context of physical matter. But the physical matter is just energy formulated into a solid expression.
Yes.
But our physical body really is, it's the connection between our true self, which is just pure consciousness, pure essence, and then the experience. So when you wake up and you have a body, you have a temple. That is, it's the best thing ever. I mean, this experience is the greatest experience. I mean,
I
throughout all
agree.
galaxies, throughout all galaxies.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with this. This is a great subject. I knew it was going to be a blast talking to you. So people get so hung up. I'm doing everything I can not to curse because I'm about to jump out of my skin. I am. I'm about to jump out of my skin because I'm tired of all this bitching and moaning. You know, if it's that
Um,
fucking real, if it's that scary, then exit stage left. Now,
yeah,
what you just said to me is so profound. You know, we're here to eat, to drink, to run outside, to make love, to do all these human things. And yes, have some of them gotten distorted? Absolutely, they have. But if somebody wants to go eat a 12 pack of Krispy Kreme donuts, okay, or if I go up north where you're at, some sliders from White Castle, or whatever the hell they want to, you know, by God, do it. If
yeah,
it feels right for you, do it. And
yeah,
everybody else, MYOB, okay? Because we spend so much time in a wounded healer frequency, uh, engaging ourselves in what other people are doing, because
yeah.
we don't have what, the awareness or the consciousness of something not being aligned in ourselves. I don't think so. After all this time, we know there's only one place to look, and that's ourselves.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, no, I would agree. And the thing about that is it's also time. Time is the real essence of commodity. So if I was to say, Todd, you can have anything you want in this world, anything you want. How much are you willing to pay for it? That's a question. Just what do you think about that? If I
What
said
do
you
I
can
think
have
about?
anything you want, think of anything, something you want. How much are you willing to pay for it?
Well, everything but my soul, I guess. I don't know. That's a hard question. That's a
Just,
good one.
just give me a number. Just give me a number. What you think? All
You
right.
mean like
What do you?
monetarily or time wise?
Well, it's all about really, it's all about time. So when you say somebody, what are you willing to pay for something, right? They think of paying with monetary
Yeah,
money, right? But see, the universe does not work in promissory notes. That's
yeah,
all money is. Money is a promissory note of promise for goods later on,
yeah,
not right now. The
yeah.
universe does not work like that. The universe works in the moment. It works in the now. And it's all about your attention and your intention and where you're placing that. So anything that you desire, no matter what it is, the more you focus and give that thing energy, you become a magnet to that experience. So when you get a thought is a hologram. It's a full expression of an experience that you can pick apart all these different angles. For instance, if you want to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right?
I just did,
First,
by the way. That's why I
there you
was
go.
late.
That's why I picked it. That's why I picked it. So the first thing is you're a little hungry. Then you
Yeah.
think, oh, peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now all the steps are all within this hologram of how to achieve creating that peanut butter and jelly sandwich, getting in your hands and then getting into your belly. So every single thought we have is a hologram. That hologram has a vibrational frequency. So every single thought has a vibrational frequency because we are in a reality of information, of energy. So anything that we think of is an energy field and it has a specific frequency. So when we start thinking about something continuously, be it a car, be it a house, be it a loved one, doesn't matter what it is, whatever it is physically, it's just energy. We become a match vibrational frequency to that thing, that idea, that hologram. And when we become a match vibration to it, our pineal gland is a huge magnet, our heart is a huge magnet, and they come together in coherence and they draw that experience, that holographic experience to us, and then we're able to experience it. So when I say, what are you willing to pay for something? It's not monetary, it's
Yeah,
time. How
yeah,
much time are you willing to put into your desires? Because the
yeah.
more you put your attention into your desires, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to manifest them. And that's
I
the
like that.
beauty of it. So when we look at what's happening, around the world, I mean, it is kind of scary in a sense. A lot of people are afraid. I mean, and people are dying. It definitely is happening. With the understanding that we're an eternal being and that we actually never really die. We just have bodies. Our bodies transform and we come back as another being. We have multiple lives. Actually, 26,000 years, we come in for this amazing journey. And we have all these different lives. And really, death is just transformation. But when we look at what's going on around us, it can be a little bit scary, but where do you choose to put your attention in this time, right? Do you want to focus on what's going on here with all the stuff that's scary? Or do you want to look over here and focus on taking this time to really start creating something that you always wanted to create, and yet you didn't have the time to create it. And now here people are with all this time right now. Instead of focusing on what's happening on this television, focus on your family, focus on creating something, focus on your desires. Your attention, your time is so valuable in the sense of your creating abilities. Creation is coming through you here and now.
I
It's
love
all
that.
based on your intentions.
I love the way you duped me.
Oh, the setup. It was a setup question.
That was a Todd question, man. But no, that's a great answer, because here's the crazy thing. Whatever you want, whatever you want, how much time are you willing to put into it? And everything that you're producing, you have put the time into it. You know what I mean? In other words, we're manifestors, and we can either be conscious and responsible and prudent, or we can be like we have been. And quite frankly, we don't need any current events to find things that will distort our manifestations or create distorted manifestations or uncomfortable or unwanted manifestations. We've got an infinite list of things since the beginning of the human species. 8,000 people a day die of starvation.
Yeah.
Now, where are the fucking prayer groups for that? Like, come on. Okay.
Well, it's just not brought to the conscious.
But what I'm saying is the best thing we can do, instead of getting off track and distracted in the spirit, okay, the spirit of the human heart, okay, because we're much more than that. The wounded healer frequency, to focus on stuff and to make ourselves feel better, to make ourselves potentially love ourselves more by helping other people when we're not whole. What you're talking about is part of being whole is to create what you want. And when whatever we create is actually part of that collective. This is your part. This is your piece of the pie. And that is the magic of being made in the image to me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And no, stop saying you're sorry. No, it's great. No, I love it. I love it. I want to share something with you guys real quick. I'm going to screen share. Is that cool? Can I do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sweet. All right. So you can see my screen now.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at here are stars, right? So this is Sirius right here. I took this with my P900 camera on my deck.
Is that
and
right?
You can see the spinning rotation. You can see the flickering, which means there is light being emanating, right? There's light coming. We can see the light itself. And now we can see the spinning rotation. So it's a vortex of energy. So when we look at all the stars in the sky, so there's 5,000 visible stars that we can see with our naked eye. We look at all the stars in the sky. They're all producing light, and they're all producing sound that's being projected into our reality. How do I stop sharing here?
So I never knew that they were spinning like that. It looks like they're spinning.
Yeah, they are. So it's a spinning vortex, right? And it's projecting information into our realm. So there's this whole canopy of stars, which are information, data, right? So when you look at your TV, you're watching data, information. It's light and sound being moved over a medium called fiber optics, and then it's brought to your television through coax, and then it's decoded, demodulated so that you can see a picture. So it starts here, gets here, but it's all data. It's all information being transmitted over light and sound. Now, this is the most important thing to understand. Light and sound carry information. So there was a Russian scientist, I forget when he came out. His name was Peter Garyaev, and he's the one that figured out the DNA phantom effect. Have you heard of that?
No.
All right, so what he did is he shined a gentle laser beam through the developing salamander embryo and redirected it into the developing frog embryo. And this caused the frog embryo's DNA to completely recode itself. And what happened is the frog became a salamander because the light, the photon, carried the DNA structure of the salamander's embryo into the frog embryo. And these were in sealed containers. The only thing that was transmitted was light coming from one to the next. And it carried the DNA, changing the DNA structure of the being to become a salamander. So what's really interesting about this is we can see how light can change our DNA.
Yeah.
So what's happening is, so there's 5,000 stars that we can see. There's 88 constellations that humanity have deemed these collective star groups, right? These star groups are like bands, basically. They're like symphonies and orchestras. So this specific constellation called Sagittarius has all these stars collections, and they project information into this reality that we then receive and we express and experience. Now the planets are doing the same exact thing. And internet's unstable. You good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Okay. So what's happening is the stars are projecting information in here and we're expressing it, experiencing it. So as we're moving into this time called Aquarius, and I talked about this last week when I was on with you and Jamie, and someone said in the comments, we're not in the age of Aquarius because the stars not aligned with it. What's happening is we're shifting from Pisces into Aquarius, and we don't know the exact time because our calendars have been so messed up over time. We have the Gregorian calendar and the calendar before that and the calendar before that. We don't have an accurate calendar of time now, but the stars are really our calendars. So as we're moving and shifting into this new state of existence in the collective consciousness through the stars projecting its energy, it's actually changing our molecular structure. It's actually changing our ability to perceive more higher information. So like I was saying last week about the ascension process and how we know we're ascending, I gave the example of someone living in the 1800s or 1600s and then bringing them here into the time that we're in now. They would be so overloaded with information because we can handle so much information today. And then if you were to take someone from here and put them into the 1600s, they'd be bored out of their minds. Well, most people will be bored out of their minds because there's just not enough data input that we could, take in. Where today, my son can play a video game, watch YouTube at the same time, and retain all that information. That's just so much information, data that's being absorbed. So we are ascending, and it's showing that our ability to absorb more data is coming into our collective consciousness. Whereas soon, we're not going to be using mediums such as computers to communicate. We'll be using telepathic information. And our speech is like basically using dial-up. It's very, the dialect is very, you gotta do all this to get your story out here. Whereas when we're telepathic, we can just share the whole idea, the whole hologram, and you get the whole entire picture. It's so much faster. So we're raising in consciousness day by day. And the stars are now assisting us in this collective expression, in this collective experience. And everybody's like, it's the same old, what's happening now, and nothing's ever going to change. Well, everything is changing. Everything is changing now. We are moving into this new heightened state of consciousness where everything, our whole entire social structure is about to completely change. And Dolores Cannon talked about this thing called the New Earth, right? There was the New Earth and the Old Earth, and people who
Talking
are
about Dolores Cannon.
Yeah, she said about this New Earth, that there's a New Earth where people who can handle the higher vibrational frequencies would then attune to this reality, and people who couldn't would attune to this reality. So what's happening now is the old is falling away, and that's what Aquarius does, right? So water bearer, it washes out all the old and makes room for the new, and it uncovers all the stuff that's been hiding underneath the ground for quite some time. So we can kind of see all these things kind of coming to the forefront of our consciousness that have been hidden from us, and we're kind of have to deal with it now. And a lot more is going to come out in the next couple of years to really, it might shake up humanity a little bit, but it has to happen because we have to move into the next phase. And the next phase is where we're one group, one collective consciousness, because each individual human being, right, is one individual. But collectively, when we gather in numbers and we put our intentions collectively, our power is so much stronger.
Yeah.
So the power of numbers in groups of consciousness is just incredible. And then once we come together as a species, as a collective consciousness, we can move into the universe and direct our intentions anywhere and be able to manifest like that.
Yeah.
Because our power is so strong. Individually, we're very strong. Two of us together, we're stronger. Three of us together, we're stronger. But when we come together as a collective consciousness and move together and we support each other and we work for each other, we're working for each other now. If you look at how society is built, we're working for each other, but we're working for the promissory note, for the promise of goods later on. That's going to go away, where we're going to be working for each other because we love each other, because we know the divisions are going to be melting away. There's not going to be no more divisions. We're going to be a collective human where we're working all together. I mean, this is going to be years and years and years and centuries to come, but we're seeing the cleansing of the old falling away, and we're moving into this new reality. And a lot is going to be uncovered. People will be shocked, but it's fantastic because it's moving us one step closer to being a collective family, a collective consciousness where we're all going to be here together.
I don't know about decades or centuries.
No, I'm talking about the cohesion of the whole collective consciousness.
Yeah, I'm kind of making a joke.
Yeah.
I think it's upon us, or at least the somewhat quantum, I guess. So in other words, the speed of change, what you can notice, what's obvious, I think is already becoming obvious how fast things are changing. So what you're basically saying is that in this particular part of the universal makeup, that there's obviously everything is connected, everything's a web, but in this example, these stars and celestial bodies are really in sync with us. They're going through the same thing we are. They're generating this information through sound and light onto us, onto the earth, which is a cyclical, constant transformation, like the seasons.
Yeah.
Now, what we do with it is what we do with it, I guess.
Right.
Just because,
I
mean, we have. I guess what I'm saying is we have a say so. We have an influence. It's not like we're robots. I mean, how does that play into?
Well, we got
the master octave and so on with you.
Yeah, so we have a say so in the sense of the experience itself. We can't change darkness. When it's dark outside, it's dark. We can't lasso the sun to come over and give us more sunlight. And when it's daytime, we can't push the sun away and make it dark, right? So we're kind of dealt this hand of light and dark and when it's coming, and we're dealt the hand of these stars moving into positions with each other. And it's these different angles that create expressions and experiences within our realm. So those stars, I mean, obviously, if you look at, academia, it's much different than what I'm talking about, but I'm going back to our ancient knowledge from our past experience and what I experienced a long, long time ago. So I can remember a lot of my past lives from my ancient expressions. So what we're looking at here is the stars are actually holding the vibrational frequency of the pattern for our collective experience. It's kind of like the builders of form. It kind of holds form into the pattern. So what is it that holds a pencil or a pen in its form, right? What is it that draws the molecules to it? The stars are assisting that for us individually and collectively as a consciousness. So when the stars move into a specific pattern, we have a feeling. We feel these feelings that come in, just like the moon cycles, right? The moon cycles we feel those very strongly every single month. That's why they have lunatics. People tend to go a little crazy when the full moons come out. Hospital visits go up.
Yeah.
The effect of the full moon, how it draws on the emotions of the body. The emotions are water, right? we are made up of 60 to 70% water. So when we go to a full moon, we can see how that moon, the magnetation is pulling on us, and it's pulling on our emotions. So we can see it on a very small scale, but it's happening on a very, very big scale when we look at where we're at in this realm that we're in. And the stars are kind of holding the collective expression together so that we can have the experience. Now, we can't change the experience per se. What we can change is how we experience the experience. And that is mastery. So if I'm to punch you in the arm, right? I had the thought in my head. So I predetermined I was going to punch you in the arm, right? So it's already predetermined. I'm going to punch you in the arm. I do it. And then you say, you know, what happens is how do you react? Do you respond? Meaning, are you conscious or do you react going based off of your old programming? Okay, so when you start to respond, to what's happening, the stimuli around us, you then become master of your expression because you are centered and you're in control of your actions. When we react, we are not in control of our actions. We're just reacting based on instincts, based off our old programming. So it's all about how we respond to what is happening. So what's happening now is, you know, what's going on in the world, we see it happening. Now, how do we handle that, right? What can you do individually? It's all about you being able to stay centered and hold the high vibrational frequency within yourself. Because here's what happens. Now, if you look at Bruce Lipton's work and you look into cell biology, this is extremely important for everybody to understand what is happening right now to you individually. This is incredibly important to understand. When you move into a state of fear, what happens to your cells is your cells can't see the outside world. You have 50 trillion cells and they cannot see the outside world. They get their information coming through your five senses. Your five senses gives your internal world, these 50 trillion cells, an idea of what's happening. So when you move into a state of fear, we move into the state of fight or flight. What happens is our cells, all this stuff happens inside of us to push the blood from the front of our head, which is our critical thinking, to the back of our head to get out of the way. It takes all the blood from our viscera, where all the healing happens from our organs, and it pushes it into our arms and into our legs so that we can get out of the way. But if we're always in a state of fear, what's happening is we're putting all these cells into a state of protection. Now, when you look at cell biology, and you look at cells can either be in protection or growth. They can't be in two at the same time. It's either one or the other. So when they're in a state of protection, guess what they can't do? They can't regenerate. They can't rejuvenate. They can't heal. They die off, and that's it. They just start dying off. When they start dying off, what happens to the body? The body starts to shut down. Dis-ease comes into our body very easily because we are suppressing our immune system. And all we're doing is moving into a state of fear in our mind. When we move into a state of fear in our mind, our internal reality, our internal self says, uh-oh, we got to fix this, shut down, something is happening outside. We need to get all the energy and put it to all the parts that it needs to be into. But if we're in a continuous state of fear, we are shutting down our immune systems. We are shutting down our body's ability to heal. So it's so important to respond to what is happening with love, compassion, and the understanding that you are in control of your body and that you holding a high vibrational frequency of love and compassion and happiness inside of yourself keeps your cellular structures inside of you in a state of calmness, which means they're in a state of growth, which means if anything happens to you, if you get a virus, guess what's going to happen? Your body's going to heal it up like that. It's going to take care of what it needs to take care of. But if you're in a constant state of fear, you are compromising your immune system, you are compromising your cells. And if you do get a virus, it's going to be much harder for your body to defend against it because you have all your defense mechanisms completely shut down. So this is why it's so important to stay in a state of love and compassion, to stay in a state of happiness. Where do you choose to put your intentions in this time? And that's how you respond. So do we react or do we respond to what's happening around us? And we can't control what's happening around us, but we can control how we respond to what's happening around us. And that's where mastery comes in. This is being a master. Being a master isn't, going and teaching. Being a master is you being centered, you
Yeah.
being connected to your higher self, you keeping the chakra system completely open so that you can receive the messages from your higher self. If you shut that connection off, you're not receiving the higher information. It's not easy. It's not easy. So it's much easier to leave that connection open so that the thoughts coming in are of a higher nature, which keeps you calm, keeps you relaxed, and it keeps you in a state of, okay, you know what? This is happening. What can I do now to do something that I've been putting off? What can I do now to focus on creating? What can I do now to help others, right?
Yeah.
I guess it was Zig Ziglar would say, help enough other people get what they want, and you will always have enough.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what it comes down to. It comes down to us coming
Well,
together.
I think
with our
too
intentions.
it's what you said about the cells. The cells can either be thriving, or they can be kind of contracted. Because let's think about it. You started the show out by saying, I said, "How you doing?" I'm doing great. I'm living. I'm alive. Right.
Yeah.
So, that's like a natural thing. That's like, it's almost like if you're in that state. Well, first of all, you're like a cell. You're not thinking about being in protective mode. There is no protection. There is no such thing as protection. If you're actually like the cell, your function in that body is one piece of this, what did you say, a trillion cell puzzle.
Yeah.
So you're an expert at that particular piece of the pie, and that's what you do. That's what you do. Anything else is a distraction, right? I mean, anything else is, think about it. People talk about there's a point of awareness where there is no such thing as forgiveness. It's true, but I just talking to you, I'm going, well, there's no need for protection. Protection is like there's no such thing as healing, because healing it means that there's something, it means there's something wrong, right? There's something wrong. There's that you're not perfect, that you're not, that's, you know what I mean? So the same thing goes for protection. I mean, I love what you're saying, because the whole thing is we like overcomplicate things. We allow too much into our field, and really it is so simple. It's as simple as the way you answered the question at the top of the show. I'm alive. I'm living. You're going to get off the show. You're going to go into the kitchen. You're going to give Jamie a kiss on the cheek. You're going to see your kid later. You're going to go make a video, something that aligns in your heart, something that's your piece of the puzzle. You're going to smile. You're going to exercise. You're going to do all these things that are just natural. You, like you said about the cell, if you're doing that, you can't even think. You can't do two things at one time. You can't go two different directions. 180. You can't do it.
Yeah. So the goal is to really get the body aligned into its perfect homeostasis. And once it moves into its homeostasis, you don't have to think about, doing the healing. You don't have to think about it, because it's always in tune and always doing what it needs to be done. But where we're at now, like I said, we're just coming out of an age where, that's actually a very big age, because it was actually a whole dissension process, a whole 12,000 year dissension process. So we're all making this massive shift right now. It's not this little tiny shift into an age. It's really a massive shift from descending to now starting to ascend, which means we're going to start remembering. We're not becoming something greater. We're just returning to who we truly were. We have forgotten who we are. We've forgotten all of the information of how to use certain things. All of our ancient ancestors, what were they building these temples for? They were building these temples according to these star patterns, because they understood how to utilize that data, that light and sound, and program it into the temples, and then use that for their society, be it a Stargate, be it for energy. They understood that. And what are these temples made out of? Silicon. What's our computers using? The silicon chip. Our memory chips, they're all based on crystals. They knew this a long, long time ago. We have forgotten this information. We still can't build a pyramid like they did then now, because we have forgotten. We're going to start remembering, And as we start remembering, what's going to be pretty cool soon is when we can take like a flash drive and plug it into the old pyramids and pull the data out and see how they were doing all this stuff, right? It's going to be like, oh, it's going to be great. But they were using that information. I mean, that's why the Mayans were so in tune with the stars. I mean, and the cultures before then, everybody was in tune with the stars. Today, we only use the stars for our time, for our dates, and for our months. That's what we use that's what we use the stars for consciously. We say, hey, we'll meet today at 2:00, right? We're talking about the position of the sun. We're not using a sundial anymore. We're actually using a digital number to represent the actual position of the sun. So it's once we start understanding this, we can start using the energies that are all around us to amplify our creative abilities, because we all have such amazing creative abilities. So what I did this morning is I woke up and I created a meditation. So what I do is I'm an NLP practitioner, hypnotherapist, and I help people reprogram their minds. It's all about in your mind of how you perceive the world. And when you reprogram yourself, I mean, it's infinite of what you can do. It's all about getting rid of the old emotions that are holding you back, that you don't even know what they are. So once you go in there and you find out in your subconscious mind what emotions you have from a childhood that you don't even know are running in the background, once you remove those, pains in your body start disappearing because you're removing those emotional blocks, and things start opening up for you very, very quickly once you open up these channels of information and energy. So what I do is I do it through meditations. So this morning I woke up and I created a meditation to boost your immune system and to assist with anxiety and fear. And that's happening now. And I'm just going to give it to everybody for free. I'll put it in the comments below. And I feel it's like my part is helping out and just helping people, move through this time and really focus on them, focus on you. It's a beautiful time to take the time and focus on you and all the things you have wanted to do for so long and couldn't because of our busy lives. And, we're so busy and going. Now we're kind of having to sit back, take this time and really excel your consciousness, really excel your connection with your higher self.
Yeah. To me, and I appreciate that, and I see a lot of people doing stuff like that. And I'm confused. Yeah. I'm confused.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm confused. And I'm going to tell you, I don't feel like working today. I feel like shit. Yeah. But I know I've got to get up and do this. I don't know why. It's just my piece of the puzzle. But I'm confused. And the reason I'm confused, because you're actually the one making me more confused. You're bringing more clarity to me. And that is simply to take all of the complications out and just be Todd. And just be with my wife and just be with my work. And you're right. Take a walk down the street. Look at the birds, lay in the grass. Because if I'm getting what I think I'm getting from you, and I feel like I'm right, that's all the immune building I need to do. What did you call it? Natural
homeostasis. So homeostasis is balance.
Yes. So the natural homeostasis in and itself is if not pure alignment, it is the trajectory of a purer, more perfect alignment. Which means if that's the case, if there's anything misaligned, diseased, or whatever, that as I'm in this homeostasis, then I'm on the trajectory of more alignment, more perfection. That means that everything that's not is coming into more alignment and more perfection with each moment that I sustain in continuity of homeostasis. I love you, man.
Yeah.
You're just
I love you too, bro.
You're like Buddha, man. No, I'm serious. This is like, we didn't,
it's simple.
We all design this. Yes. At some level, we all design this. It's a hell of an experience. But think about the paradoxical lessons of the universe, paradoxical teachings of the universe. We're not going to make it. It may look really complicated, but it's actually really simple.
It is very simple.
Doesn't mean it's easy based on the journey,
Nope.
but it's a simple thing. This natural homeostasis
Yeah.
frequency or field.
And we don't
Yeah.
want it to be easy. We do not want it to be easy. And Jim Rohn would say, if something is hard, he goes, don't wish for it to be easy. Wish for you to be better. And that's what it comes down to. Like, I want it to be easier. No, you don't want it to be easier. You want you to be better. Create the kind of goals that's going to make something of you when you achieve them. It's not about the goal. It's about you. Everything is about you and what you do with the expression of energy that you are creating. It's all about you and your expression.
Yeah.
And if we're working always towards like you're doing with Soulogy, it's beautiful. I mean, you're on, 5 times a day. It's incredible how much you're on. But it's really about getting out there and helping the collective consciousness, helping them get information, helping them wake up, helping them see through the obstacles. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And then once we all start coming together like this and really all start working together, it's going to be lights out, absolutely lights out. And we have assistance from the stars that's shifting our whole entire reality. The whole paradigm is falling away, literally falling away. And this new earth that's been prophesized is now coming into being. It's going to be, it's going to be epic what's happening. It's going to be epic. It's so exciting.
Can we accelerate this working together thing? Can we accelerate well, that's a dumb question. How can we move into the trajectory of homeostasis on an individual level? Because it sounds to me like that's one thing we could all do that would actually bring us into further alignment, and also the collective into further alignment in the spirit of what you're talking about, everybody working together for each other.
Yeah, it's very easy. It's time management. Very easy. Time management. What are you doing with your time? So we wake up, we have 24 hours in a day. We're sleeping on average 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
What are we doing with our time? When you're driving to work, what are you doing? Are you listening to inspirational information? Or are you listening to the radio? Radio, it says pre-programming, continuously programming over and over. The same thing. You can sing the song over and over again because you memorized it. It's just in your subconscious mind. There's no thinking when you hear a song over and over again, right? You're not critically thinking anymore. You just basically you're driving and you're thinking with the memories of what was, opposed to what can you create. So when you're listening to information that's really stimulating your growth, that's what you can do. When you're home, take 15 minutes a day, minimal, to lie down and do a stillness meditation. And then the rest of your day, do a meditation while you're walking around. And the meditation is be conscious and be responsive to what's happening around us, right? Just don't go back into the old, right back into reaction. When something happens, like be responsive, respond to what's happening. Our only responsibility is to be responsible with how we respond. That's our free will. We can't change what's happening outside here. We change what's happening inside of here, and that becomes a match vibration to the infinite energy and changes our whole entire expression of how we view the world, and our world changes. So how we can start individually is time management. Take time for yourself every single day, do a little bit of a meditation, and start using your time in the car. And everybody's in their car, an hour a day. Use that time wisely. Put on an audiobook that's going to inspire you and make you think. If there's something that you want to create a business. There are so many free programs on YouTube of people who have already done it. There are so many books that you can get on Audible. Just pop on an audiobook and get inspired, get information, because people have already done what you're trying to do. And just listening to them is going to give you ideas and inspiration. And you can take their ideas and put your information on top of that. And it's like when you wake up inspired every day. You wake up like, oh, I can't wait to wake up. I can't wait to get on top of that. Like this morning when I woke up, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get on top of this and make this meditation. I felt so good when I woke up because I felt like I'm doing something for someone,
Yes,
and it wasn't about money. It wasn't about money. We need money today to live. In the future, the monetary system is going to collapse and it's going to be a new system put in place. But right now we need money. So we have to exchange this energy called money. But I would love to wake up every day and just help people for free. Just help. I would love that. And that's why I have the Masters Octave, which is a nonprofit organization. And we're transitioning into that, where we can be donation based. But right now,
tell us about that. How do we it's the mastersoctave.com, I think, right?
.org. So .com or .org. So yeah, so if you go to .com, it'll redirect you to the .org.
Okay.
And yeah.
Now this is where you have the series, right?
Yeah, it's where I hold the series. And right now I'm kind of bringing in people. We're kind of making a collective spiritual school, online school. That's what we're doing. So our mission is to provide artistic, cultural, spiritual development opportunities to enrich our world. That's the mission of the Masters Octave. So it's really about the expansion of consciousness within humanity, and really in the assistance of helping them achieve their goals and their aspirations. And so we're going to start creating courses. I'm bringing in a lot of people now, and we'll offer them at a very small discount, and then people can donate, and we'll have donation based. I'm creating this thing called activation healing. And my idea is not to be a healer. My idea is to show you how you can heal yourself. So I'll walk you through the steps of how you can heal yourself. Doesn't matter what you have, you can heal yourself. Your body is amazing. So it'll be a donation-based service where people can come in, have a session with me, and they can just donate, and they donate to the Masters Octave. And eventually that will be the idea, to move into the whole structure of the monetary game, or people and corporations can donate, and that can really project it out there. But I want to show people how they can heal themselves, because once you understand how you can heal yourself, you're good to go. And then you can share that information with your family and your friends, and they can understand that it's all starts in the mind. Everything starts in the mind. And I've seen some amazing healings happening. I mean, emotional healings, physical healings from my clients in a short amount of time, short amount of time. So, I mean, it's very powerful. And I like I said, I wish I could do it every day for free. And soon, one day that will happen, but.
It's going to happen. It's already happening.
Yeah.
I
agree.
So, what's the difference? I'm just curious, because you're making me think. So you hit me in the shoulder. It's from that point on, it's how I react. What do I create from that? What do I perpetuate, or what do I create from that? Now, how does that apply to things like, and I'm just curious, and this is really more of an energetic question, not a literal question. Like, is it the same thing as, like, say, I'm going to walk on a hot bed of coals, or I'm going to lay on a bed of nails. Now, again, this is an energetic, that's a metaphoric examples, because you haven't punched me in the shoulder yet. You see what I mean? So how does that work? Is it the same thing? Like, do you go through the mechanics of, say I have a fear of walking on hot coals. I haven't done it. Is it the same thing? You do it in the energetic field to then.
So have you ever seen someone do the firewalk? People get normal people. So what happens is, there is a time before they do the firewalk. You don't just walk up and do the firewalk, because we have these conditions inside of our minds, these programs inside of our minds about when you touch something that's hot, it burns you. Okay. So that creates fear. The fear is good. We want to have fear. We need that fear so that we don't burn ourselves. But in the case of the firewalk, what's happening is they do kind of like a meditation or a hyping up of the consciousness of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is insanely powerful. And this is why they can walk on these hot ashes and not get burnt, because it's all energy. The subconscious mind knows this. So when you go into but right before you do it, you get into this meditative state, which is a trance state. When you enter this trance state, it's kind of like you turn on your superhuman abilities, and the physical reality world kind of bends a little to the reality of what we daily perceive our reality to be. And it bends according to our ability to hold this state of consciousness, which it's measured in an EKG as alpha and theta. And when you enter into this alpha theta state, what it actually is it's like our crown chakra is completely opened up and we're able to access our higher self. I believe the subconscious mind is the connection between this reality and the higher self reality. And it allows us to open up to energies that we don't normally have in our day-to-day.
The subconscious, you said the subconscious is the intermediary between. Okay. So if
it's
that's
all about getting in that state.
Yeah. So if that's the case, I'm just thinking out loud. We're having a conversation. So if that's the case, because I remember reading this article. It was a Tony Robbins deal, and I'm sure there's been a 99.99% success rate. But it made me think. There was this one time that they had this thing at the end of one of the conferences, and people got burned. Mm-hmm. And I think what happened was one person started it, and the rest of them lost their edge, basically.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that shows the power of it both ways. Yeah. Now, and I mean that in a positive way. I don't mean that in a negative way. Now, what I'm saying is why couldn't we pre-program or pre-program? I don't know what the difference is here, but why couldn't we do that with anything and everything? Because anything and everything is potentially a walk over hot coals, right? I mean, you get what I'm saying? Is that like, for instance, like with your meditation? Is that similar? Is the meditation very like, similar. As an example? I mean, it's. I'm not trying to, but to create a higher, stimulated state of consciousness that taps into the higher self.
So let's say you want. You have pain in your leg. No one can figure out what it is. You're just dealing with it, right? What we do is we do a session together. We go into a trance, which has access to our higher self, which has all the information. Your subconscious mind records every single thing that happens to you from the time you come onto this planet until the time that you leave it. It's all recorded, right? So we access the subconscious mind, the higher self, and we start asking questions and probing and finding out where this came from, why it happened. What's the reason? Once we get all that, it's kind of like, do we still need this? And then we wipe that out, right? And then once you wipe that out, then you move into the programming phase. So what is it that you want in your life? Well, I want to build my business. I want to find the love of my life. So then we start moving into the meditative state because you're already in that phase of alpha and theta. And then we start reprogramming, right? Just programming your mind to open up your subconscious mind to become a match vibrational frequency to that holographic image of that perfect person or to that job that you desire. And what happens is the magnet turns on here, the magnet turns on here, and you become a magnetic energy. The law of attraction, right? What is it? We're talking about magnetic energy. When you look at the pineal gland, why is it called a pineal gland? It's the pine cone. If you look at magnetic fields and look at the pine cone, they're identical. So the field that's running through here is shaping the physical matter called the pineal gland, but it's the field itself that's giving it shape. So when you look at cymatics, right? Cymatics is, you heard of cymatics?
Yes.
It's the higher the frequency and the medium, it could be sand on a plate, changes the shapes and changes the image based on the frequency, right? So what's changing the medium and the sand is the field itself, the vibrational frequency in the field. So what's giving shape to everything is the field of energy that runs through it. The pineal gland is shaped like a pine cone because it's a massive magnetic field going through it. So when we're thinking about something, we're turning on this magnetic field in our hearts and in our minds, and we're drawing that experience to us. And the more we think about something, where your attention goes, energy flows, we're flowing that energy to manifest that reality. So when we sit down and do the meditation, we start talking about and programming the things that you desire in your life over and over and over again. Repetition is key for the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is like a child. It's kind of like you keep on saying ball, 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 ball. And what happens is the subconscious mind goes ball, right? It doesn't just take a word for face value. It needs time and repetition to be able to act upon, right? And or It needs a high state of emotion. So when you have a fear traumatic experience, that heightened state of emotion seeps into the subconscious mind like that.
Yeah.
Just like that. It's very quick. So when we do a session, we get into that meditative state and we program all the things that you desire in your life, that you desire right now, to help and assist you either overcoming something or attracting something into your life.
Yeah.
And then it's all about programming your subconscious mind, your higher self. And everything that we do, when you look at our lives today, it's all because of the programming. It's
Absolutely.
all because we practice. It's all because of the practice and the repetition to get us where we are today. It's very simple. It's not
I
very
agree.
hard.
You're either conscious and responsible or unconscious and pay the
And
price.
both are beautiful. And both,
well, yeah, I guess at some level.
Both are beautiful because we don't die. Death we're an eternal being. Who you really are is not this body. We take on a body for a certain amount of time. So we come in to have all these different experiences, and we come in at a very, very high consciousness. We come in, at a very high consciousness, and then we descend in consciousness to forget who we are so that we can have the experience of being human and forgetting our complete attachment to the higher realities, which is a beautiful thing. So we're just coming out of the dark ages. The dark ages, they call it the Iron Age. They call it iron because it's the densest part of our conscious journey. Yeah. So we've completely forgotten who we are. So we're just coming out of that now. And people, some are waking up, some aren't. But you can't look at someone who's not waking up and be like, oh, why aren't they waking up? They have the right. They took this 12,000-year journey with us. Let them sleep if they want to sleep. Who wants to wake up right now wakes up. Who doesn't. It's all beautiful. It's all beautiful.
Besides, the one saying it could be the one asleep. And the one they say is asleep could be the one awake. Fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. I'm going to see if I can stabilize until the next show in 30 minutes.
So
we'll have to do it again. We'll have to do it again. There's a lot of stuff here we could get into, but it's thought-provoking, and it's well-researched, and I know where your intentions are. So, I mean, this is perfect. The mastersoctave.org. You've got, correct me if I'm wrong, you've got a free series
called The Soul's Dream.
And then you've got some other stuff that's coming that's going to be contribution based or very low nominal cost with you and other people. So this is a growing enterprise, and this is a year of collaboration and supporting each other. You guys take a look at the masteroctave.org. If you have any questions, hit up Jason, or if you can't get in touch with them, hit me up, and I'll hook you up with them.
And the soulsdream.com is where you can sign up for the course. The course is 100% free, and it's all the information that I have collected from the beginnings of my journey when I was 17 to today. So there's 25 years of information that I compiled and put it into this course in a very succinct way to help people understand these complex ideas and how the stars work and how they influence us and all the history behind it and the science behind it. And the course is doing really well, and it's free. So
the soulsdream.com is a different site than the other one, right?
Yeah, well, the soulsdream.com is the lead page for to get you into the Master's Octave. So you have to go to the soulsdream.com.
So the soulsdream.com. Okay.
Yeah, and then the Master.
That's where you want to go.
Held.
Yeah, you want to go there for. Okay, I got you. That's your landing page. Okay.
Yes.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
Brother.
I'll see you again. We'll do it again in a few weeks or so, and talk a little bit more of this spirit science, because I love it. All right.
Much love. Much love.
Best to you and yours.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Take care.